everybody, and welcome back to the Empire Let's Play series. Got a bunch of things I want to kind of talk about, and man, what a week I had. I want to tell you all about that as well. This last week I had planned on going camping. Usually I go with my mom and some friends, and we all go and do a little camping trip to the Oregon coast, and it's really pretty and really nice and great. But of course, I go and get sick just a couple of days beforehand, and I was miserable. I don't know if it was like a cold or a flu, but I was absolutely miserable. And the first couple of days that I was there during the camping trip, I was just super sick. Just kind of sat in the tent or sat outside in the sun and didn't do a lot. Finally started feeling a little bit better once the trip got underway, which was good. And I definitely had a nice and relaxing time, but boy, oh boy, don't recommend getting colds before you go camping. Over here at the village, I've only done a couple of things that I want to tell you about. One is I started laying out a path, and this is kind of the design we're going to go with. What I've got is some tuff and stone bricks along the edge. You can see on either side. And then in the center, we've got stone bricks, cobble, and occasionally an andesite, polished andesite in there. And I think that is going to be the theme throughout. We might change it up a little bit here and there, add in some gravel or different things just to make it a little bit more interesting. But I think this is going to be the general design. And you can see here I've started working on bringing the path up like this. I don't want the path to be too steep. We could just do stairs and send it right up the hillside, but I feel like that would look more like a trail than a road. And I want it to feel like a road, so I don't want it to climb much faster than this. So we'll likely end up digging into the side of the hill a little bit and then digging up into this side of the hill. We'll see how it goes. Over here in the village, I did a couple of things. So one is I added a little bit more texture to this building. The big birch sides just felt a little flat, and so I added in a tiny bit of oak, and I think it looks pretty good. Down here, this is going to be our base, and I was just trying out some different materials. How do we feel about a copper floor? Yeah? No? Maybe? Over in the middle, I figured out where the center is, and I just built a little well, a place for our villagers to kind of gather. And then I added one more building in here. We had our fisherman building, and I just used a lot of spruce and some of the deep slate that we recently got to build a house for the Fletcher. When we go inside, you can see it's just a nice little space with a little bit of room in here, and I think it looks real good. And then, since this is kind of the center of town, I just kind of did the doorways here so I could get a feel for what this is going to kind of feel like. And so we'll add more buildings in as we go, and then this will be the center of town. And I think it's going to be really cool. I've been growing more trees just so we have more materials. And one final thing I did is I added a lightning rod on top of this new building. Since it is deep slate, it can get hit by lightning and hopefully not burn down. So that will be useful if we ever get any lightning storms in the area, although savannas tend not to get a lot of that. And then over here, I took a couple of the lights that we've gotten out of our trial chamber, and I put them up here just to have a different light source rather than torches. And I think that looks kind of cool. So today I want to get a little bit done here in the Savannah Village as far as building more buildings, maybe working on the path a little bit. But one thing I want to do to start off is I want to make a fishing rod. I've been thinking about different ways of getting loot and gear early game, and I was like, oh yeah, fishing. That's one thing I hadn't really thought about. So I've got my nice fishing rod here, and we'll let the sun go down, and then in the morning, we'll do a little bit of fishing. Okay, fingers crossed. Nice. Well, that's the end of that fishing rod. As far as loot, got a bunch of raw cod, I got some raw salmon, got some puffer fish, I got a couple of lily pads, got a tropical fish, a bowl, a stick, a tripwire hook, and an Efficiency 3 book. I was kind of hoping for a better fishing rod. If I could get a fishing rod with mending or luck of the sea or something like that, then we could potentially get even more and better loot, but that'll just come with time, I suppose. Let's change our focus today to the village. I'm going to chop some of these trees down so we have some materials, and I want to start getting these buildings done so that we can start moving villagers into them. And I would also like to start work on my base. Well, this is it. We have all of the buildings done except for our base. So as we look around the edge here, we've got the toolsmith, we've got our fisherman, this building in the corner is our Fletcher. Over here we've got our farmer, and I did a little bit of a shorter building with some interesting architectural elements. When we go inside, you can see there is a back door, and around back we have a little bit of crops and another workstation back here. Next door to that, we've got the butcher. And then we had our weaponsmith and our armorer and our cartographer over here. Next to that, we've now got the cleric. I did a really cool kind of dark building here. And inside, similar kind of design language. Very cool. Next to the cleric, we've got the mason. And I did a bit more brick here just to sort of signify that. Inside, nice little building. Across from the mason, we've got the leather worker. The little space here. I still need to get some of the workstations in here. At the end of the street here, we've got our shepherd and then our librarian. The librarian, I used that mangrove wood just so we had a sort of a different look. And inside, it's very, very stark and very bold as far as the patterns. I think it's very cool looking. And then our shepherd is sort of a mix of some of the other woods. Lots of windows so we can see out. Tons of detailing left to do. I think I want to turn most of this into path blocks. We'll do some, decorations as far as the little alleys and alcoves and things like that. And yeah, once we get the workstations in here, we can set those villagers free and let them populate the village. You can see a torch up on the roof there. There are some of these spaces that are spawnable, and I want to go through and kind of bone meal a bunch of glow lichen and then just put it up there to hopefully keep things from spawning on the roofs. And that's it. That is the basic design for the Savannah Village. Like I said, we've got a lot of detailing, a lot of decorating, a lot of workstations, and then we need to start trading with all these villagers so we can start getting things from them. And of course, we've got our base. So I'm going to do an iron door so that the villagers can't get in there. And inside, this will be fairly large, just a big room. And we're going to have some storage in here. And since I was just at the beach, I was a little bit inspired by a lighthouse that I saw. And I thought it'd be cool to do a little bit of like a lighthouse spire, since we're on a coast here next to the ocean. I think that'd be kind of a neat look if we had this dock down below and then just kind of peeking up above a little bit of a lighthouse tower. And then as far as the roof, I think I might do something very pitched. Since we do have a lot of low and flat roofs throughout here, I thought something a little sharper and steeper would, again, prevent spawning and give us a little contrast to the other buildings in the village. I think to wrap up today, I want to do a little bit more fishing, but I am all out of string, so when it gets dark, I'm going to see if I can track down some spiders. There's some. Okay, let's do another round of fishing and see if we get anything good. Well, that's another fishing rod down. We got some different loot this time. We got some raw cod, we got some raw salmon, we got some puffer fish, we got some lily pads, we got a saddle, which is kind of a cool find. A little bit of string, a little bit of leather, I got a water bottle, and a bone. Still no fancy fishing rods or really great books. I know right out there is a undersea ruin, and sometimes those chests have fishing rods in them. We could also scour around a little bit and maybe find a shipwreck and see if we could find a better fishing rod in there. But I think the last thing I want to do is I want to let these villagers out of their holding cell and let them start wandering around this village. I have workstations in all of these houses except for the cleric. The cleric needs a brewing stand, and I do have a brewing stand, but it's in the holding cell with our villagers right now. We haven't gone to the nether yet, so I don't have blaze rods, so that's the only brewing stand I've got right now. But all of the other workstations are present, and so when I let the villagers out, they should just start wandering around, creating new villagers, and hopefully taking all of these occupations. Okay, I really hope I have the whole place secure. Hello? All right, I'm going to grab these workstations so that they wander away. Off he goes. All right, let's pick this one up. Well, this guy seems to think he's a toolsmith. And this guy's become a fisherman. Between episodes, we'll see what these two get up to, and I will finish the backside of the fisherman's house. And then next episode, we will focus heavily on building a base for us and getting started on the road. And that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, click join down below. Only costs 99 cents and it really helps me out. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.